Hello and welcome. I'm Lynn. Today we will be exploring the biological field. With me is Dr. Beverly Rubik, a biophysicist who has published over 100 scientific papers relating to biological field, subtle energies, and physics healing. Dr. Rubik is the founder and director of the Institute of Frontier Science in Oakland, California. She is also the faculty member, College of Integrative Medicine and Health in Saybrook University. In addition, she is the president of the U.S. Psychotronic Association. Professor Beverly Rubik has appeared on numerous television programs throughout the U.S. and worldwide. She consults well-established corporations on research and novel technologies. So welcome, Dr. Beverly Rubik.
Thank you. I'm happy to be with you.
It's an honor to meet you too. Dr. Rubik, you are the experts of Biofield. So would you like to define what is Biofield?
The biofield is the energy field of life. The closest thing to it is the concept of qi in Chinese medicine. So it's really the life force. And we have two models of life. One is that life is a bunch of biomolecules, but that doesn't explain everything. So that's why we have another model of life. Life is a field of energy that's coherent, and it consists of energy outside of the body, what we might call the aura, as well as an energy field inside the body as well. So the biofield extends far away from the body. We have an effect really throughout the universe, being humans with a biofield.
So in Chinese we call it qi, or people used to call it aura. So the actual term, we should call it biofield, so it's actually outside our body, which we can't see with the eyes.
Inside and outside.
Oh.
So, yes. And I coined the word biofield. We needed this word in science. Unfortunately, science, at least at the U.S. National Institutes of Health, would not accept the concept of qi or prana or all of these other words that many cultures have used to describe this field. So my team came up with the term biofield, and the U.S. National Institutes of Health accepted it. This was back in 1994.
Wow, from 1994, we started to use the word biofield, and every living organism has their own biofield.
Exactly, yes. Human biofield, and a plant has a biofield, every animal has a biofield. Everything that's alive has a biofield. And of course, when we die, no more biofield.
And what is the function of the biofield to living organism?
According to Chinese medicine, the qi is the bridge between the mind and the body. So in the same way, the biofield is this bridge. You can think about something, use intention or volition, and energy flows. You think about your hand, and you can send energy here or here to sword fingers and treat someone with energy. So the mind is the conductor of the biofield. And the biofield also regulates all functions of our bodies, the physiology of the body, as well as all the biochemistry. So it's very important to have a healthy biofield.
In that case, can I say that every human being, they have different levels of the biofield energy? And can this be measured?
Yes, we can measure it. Everyone has a unique biofield. And it's kind of like a fingerprint, an energy fingerprint of who you are. And it can also change from moment to moment depending upon your state of health, and your stress in life. And we're beginning to measure it in science. We have some instruments that are well accepted in science. For example, there's the BioWell, which is an instrument from Russia that measures some of this energy through electrophotography. And there are other tools that we use. I use a tool to measure the electricity traveling through the acupuncture meridians and points. So that's another measure of the biofield. And we also measure the light coming from the body, the biophotons, which we will talk about here. So those are 3 ways to measure the biofield. And at my laboratory, we're making new detectors for other aspects of the biofield.
I see. So what tools in your understanding that really works on the biofield that can help shift the energy of a human body, and what modalities can people think about when they want to access this?
Well, it's very important that the biofield be strong. If the biofield is strong and doesn't have any holes or pores, strong like, think about feathers on a bird. If the bird has feathers everywhere, the bird is warm and healthy. If there are holes in the feathers, then the bird will get cold, maybe get sick. So in the same way, the biofield must be full and sturdy and strong. So we can make instruments, we can make products that will strengthen the biofield. For example, the vitality pendant is one important product that will strengthen your biofield and make you more resilient and resistant to stress and disease.
Because we need to have a very healthy biofield. If there's a hole, if there's a leak that would absorb negative energy, am I saying the right thing, that can make us sick or stress or anything bad? Is that what you mean, as for my understanding?
Well, that's one way of looking at it. Some of the things come from outside, but also there can be internal problems that can give rise to disease as well. But if the biofield is strong, then it's regulating the body to be healthy. And when it gets weak with holes, then we could have a disease starting from inside because of an imbalance, or from outside, for example, a virus or other infection.
So our health, I mean human being, our health status, most of the time is affected by the environment or the food or the water that we take. Let's talk about the water. How do you define the new science of water?
Well, we used to think about water as just holding together the biomolecules of life, that it didn't have any other significance, okay? That's the old science of water. The new science of water says that water is really the active principle at the material level of life. Water is the mother of life, and the biomolecules like the DNA and the proteins and enzymes and hormones dance to the tune of water. Water is all important, and all of the properties of life are in water that has vitality. So we recognize that water is not just a simple structure. Yes, it's H2O, 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. Everybody knows that, and it sounds simple, but it's not simple. And it has many subtle structures. So the structure of water within our bodies, we call biowater, is different than, for example, the water here in my teacup. This is bulk water. It's not alive. It's just drinking water. And so there are many subtle structures to water. And the greatest change in aging actually is loss of water inside the body. So when
The,
you're born,
ah,
you are 81% water, and by the time you're 60 years old, you're about 60% water. That's a
wow.
big change.
Yes.
Yes,
Mm-mm-mm. But this cannot be done by drinking lots of water, because what we learn from, from everywhere, they say water is important. So you just drink lots of water to replace the water that is being lost, evaporated. So, but like what you said, what we need is the good water or the structured water. It's not the normal water that we
yes,
drink. So water is very important, especially the structured water.
exactly. We need to purify water because there's a lot of pollution on Earth, unfortunately. We need to make sure the water has good mineral balance, and then we need to revitalize the water. The water flowing on the Earth, if we could drink that, would be the proper vitality for life. But unfortunately, we have to take that water and purify it because of pollution. And then we need to restructure the water. We need to revitalize it, ideally, for drinking water in order that we can absorb it better. Otherwise, we don't absorb it well. And so our hydration goes down. And that's a problem because then the biofield gets weak when we are dehydrated.
So how do we make the best quality of water, or how do we restruct the water so that it's going to benefit our body?
Well, there are many devices out there, and we're still figuring out which are the best ones. Um, Adding electrons to the water via a water ionizer, which is an electric unit that you can put in your home, is one way. But there are also water structurizers. Um, Sometimes they're a disc that you put your glass of water on for some time and then you drink it. And this can restructure the water too. So these are special subtle energy products that we'll be developing also for Toga.
Well, it's great to hear that. At least we know that we can do something about water, and the water that we drink is going to be the quality one that really helps us, like for anti-aging and for better health. And Doctor, you mentioned about the biophotons. So what exactly is biophoton?
Well, first of all, a photon is a word from physical science, and it means a particle of light or a quantum of light, because light comes in little packets, photons, and it acts like a particle sometime, and it also can act like a wave. It depends on what experiment. A biophoton is a particle of light that is emitted by an organism, a living thing. Humans emit biophotons, and when we measured biophotons from the human body, we actually proved some of the ancient concepts from Chinese philosophy. For example, this region of the palm is one of the greatest emitters of biophotons. I believe that point is called Lao Gung in Chinese, right? Palace of work.
Oh,
And sword fingers, which are used in Qigong and also in healing. The tips of these fingers, we proved, are absolutely the greatest emitters of light, especially in Qigong masters. So, masters of the energy, the Qigong masters, um,
oh.
have mastered the biofield and collecting the universal energy from the cosmos and from the earth and bringing it into the body and circulating it. And they can make it come out of sword fingers, often with the will to do so. And they use it in mudras, in qigongs, and also in energy healing.
Well, Doctor, you understand Chinese Qigong so much more than a Chinese like me. So when I was a kid, I watched a lot of kung fu drama, and they used to do a lot of, the transforming of energy using the palm or the fingers. I always thought that this is just a drama or just an action, but like what you say is actually true. So the strongest chi is actually from here, from the palm and the fingertips. So it is real.
Yes, it's real. And even the concept of yin and yang. So the left hand is more of a receptor for the energy, and the right hand is a stronger emitter. In all persons that we measured, even if they're left-handed, the right hand emits more chi, always.
The right hand have more chi.
Always. Every person we measured.
Wow, that's interesting. Well,
Yeah.
that's something. Yeah. I learned something very, very new today. But how does biophoton plays a role in human body, and does this emission determine the state of health?
Yes, the biophotons are part of the biofield. So we see the biophotons coming out of the body, but there are other photons inside the body that we don't measure. So within the body, the biophotons are acting, but also the biophotons exiting are part of biocommunication between people. So, you can read a person's energy. Everyone can do this. You can tell, is someone happy or sad or maybe angry, and they didn't say a word and you didn't even see their face.
Yes.
And today with the masks on, we're not seeing faces, but we can still read the energy of a human. Because of biophotons, we are sensing these. And by the way, the face and the hands are the greatest emitters of biophotons. So it's part of human biocommunication. We say hello, goodbye, and we're smiling and shining biophotons at one another. And at a subconscious level, we can understand the communication even without language, even without words. It's universal. And other organisms do it too. They talk via biophotons, even if they have no words. They're communicating.
So the biophoton can be the receptor of the unspoken information from the other person. Is that what you mean?
I do mean that. And in some of my experiments, we showed when a person was feeling love, strong love, from the heart region, we measured 4 times more biophotons coming out of the chest near the heart when they were feeling love and projecting love. So it's very exciting to think we have another communication system that science has shown us, but it also relates back to ancient Chinese medicine, which I think is really amazing that 5,000 years ago, the ancient Chinese people knew a lot more that science is just catching up with today.
That's very amazing. And now let's move on to the environment, the technological world's impact on our health, and the increase of electromagnetic frequencies and radiation, like from the phone, the Wi-Fi, and so on. What have you found in your work, and how does it really affect the human body?
Well, wireless radiation, which is, of course, expanding as we have more and more devices, such as smartphones and routers and tablets and smart watches in our environment, plus there are more antennas outside. All levels of our being are affected. For example, it can affect the DNA inside the cells. It can break it. It can affect the immune system. It can affect the cell membranes. The membrane around each cell the integrity of that membrane can be disrupted by wireless radiation. And it can affect how you perform, how you concentrate. Some people experience brain fog around wireless. So we have changes in our bodies from the tiniest level inside the cell at the biomolecular level all the way up to human behavior and performance from wireless. And many of these changes are not so healthy. So,
So how do we protect ourselves from this radiation? I know there's a lot of different tools and pendants and energy medicine devices to help protect ourselves from cell phone radiation. So what is your opinion on this?
well, the devices that we've been making, the products that we're helping design, such as the Vitality Pendant and the Life Force Diffuser, all help with wireless, all help us combat the stress of wireless radiation. But nothing works 100%. So therefore, we need more products, which we're working on, to introduce into your daily environment and to daily use so that you can help protect yourself. But in addition, we need to be sensible about our use of wireless. For example, some people they sit at a desktop computer and they have a wireless keyboard and a wireless mouse when there's really no need. They could put in a wired one. Some people keep the cell phone in their pocket all the time turned on, or they put it under their pillow in the bed.
That's
This
me.
is not a good idea.
No, that's
Not such a good
no
idea.
good at all.
Well, if you put the phone on airplane mode, then it's perfectly safe. But of course, it's not going to ring. Most people want a phone that's active, that's going to ring when someone calls or texts. But I suggest when you're not using it, put it on airplane mode. And certainly don't sleep with it. And keep it a little bit further out from the body. Instead of holding it here when you make a call, use headphones or put it down on the desk or so that you're not touching it all of the time, and especially not near your brain. Because there is a higher incidence of some tumors. We have to be concerned about these things. So I say let's use wireless. I love my wireless devices, but we must use them in a smart way, in a sensible way, and not expose ourselves when we're not using it. And think, if we keep it just a few centimeters from the body, where it's much safer. So if you hold it here to talk, it's better than holding it here. It really is better because the radiation drops down amazingly with distance. And so we can get a lot less radiation by just holding it a few centimeters away from the body. And in addition, of course, we want to use the Vitality Pendant and the Life Force Diffuser and the other things that we're going to be bringing out soon.
And I have another question, doctor, because some of us, we do live near to the cell phone tower, which we can't avoid that because sometimes, we need the reception on the cell phones, and we have cell phone towers everywhere in the neighborhood. So we can't avoid that. So what we can do about it?
Well, I don't know what you can do about it, really. Unfortunately, I think wireless is here to stay. Everyone loves it.
Yes.
It's a big part of life. It's bigger than maybe the Industrial Revolution because we moved from analog to digital communication. It's a big thing. So I don't know. I mean, you could try to move to another place, but with fifth generation or 5G wireless, more and more antennas are going up in our neighborhood and around schools. So I suggest we learn to protect ourselves as much as possible from this. And by the way, even with all of these antennas in our environment, the main source of exposure is your personal smartphone, tablet, and your home router. Still, those are the things you can control in terms of how close are they to where I work and sleep. Is the router in your bedroom? That's not a good idea. Put it somewhere away from where you sleep and work, ideally.
All right, so this is the
So
bad news.
you
Sorry,
can
Doctor.
control your greatest exposure to these things with your own smart, let's say, design of your apartment or your home, where you put the router, where you put your wireless devices. Don't keep them where you sleep or spend most of your time. Put them further away. Again, that's a smart idea. So the exposure in the home is really from your devices, not so much from the antennas out there. And we can control these things, and we can use products like Vitality Pendant and Life Force Diffuser to help us build a stronger biofield and
Ah.
resist the stress from electromagnetic devices.
I understand. So there's a lot of interference outside that we cannot control, like those cell phone towers and the radiation outside from our home. But inside our house or our family, we can always control it better. I think this is quite a bad news for those who are living in a Soho like office or studio, because everything is in, but try our best to avoid the routers and the cell phones, any radiation to where we sleep. That is the most important part that we can control, or else we can wear some tools, some tools that can guide us to have a stronger biofield so that we don't get sick or weakened by all these interference into our life. Right, doctor?
That's exactly right. So we need to practice what we call enhanced self-care. In other words, we need to take better care of ourselves. And there's so many things we can do. And the products that Toga Yippee is making are part of that enhanced self-care plan. So it's very important to use all of them. Each one will add a level of protection and do the things I say about keep your distance from your home appliances that are wireless and turn them off when not in use. And that's the way to be sensible about all of this. And I think with that, we'll be safe.
Thank you so much, doctor, for your word. I think from today onwards, I will not put my cell phone underneath my pillow, because normally I turn it on and I put on some songs and music to make me sleep. So I should stop doing it from today onwards. Thank you so much for your advice. Well, Dr. Beverly Rubik, what a pleasure to be with you and to share your passion to these important areas of science. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being with us. Thank you.